Yeah.
all the details.
So we're officially beginning, and I'm going to go ahead and start recording so that people know that it's recording. Okay, so hello everybody. We had a little people who are jumping on now. We had a few tech issues that we were dealing with, a little bit late getting started, but want to welcome people who are jumping on to watch the conversation tonight with Millicent Unplugged. And then also, of course, our future viewers for the recordings. And I like to start always with land acknowledgement from the museum, just acknowledging that here at the Millicent Rogers Museum, we are located on ancestral lands of the Tiwa-speaking people, known today as the Red Willow people of Taos Pueblo. We strive to deepen our relationship with the Red Willow people through collaboration while acknowledging and honoring the complex history of the Red Willow people, past, present, and future. We express gratitude to this land and to the Taos Pueblo elders and ancestors who have stewarded this land since time immemorial. So tonight, the topic is infused with inspiration and entrepreneurial spirit, with this month's conversation being devoted to the topic of small businesses and small businesses in a small town. Through this conversation with these two local business women, we will touch on ways in which small businesses both form and inform the foundation of our community's regional flair and unique vibe. So thank you for joining us as we explore these intersections of tourism and stories of community voices sharing beginnings, challenges, and successes. And I want to welcome Atira Mascarenas from AtiraSouthwest on Taos Plaza, also owner of Taos Trolley, and Jacquelene McHorse from Bison Star Naturals, which began as a cottage industry and now has a brick and mortar storefront as well, and some exciting movement forward as Bison Star Naturals has joined the ranks of Museum Store Association. So Sarah, would you like to get us started this evening?
I sure would. As I was thinking about this program this afternoon and saying, oh boy, shopping, great stuff, everything I need. I realized that you ladies are a very unusual bunch because you are not only curators of arts and crafts, but you are artisans yourself within that. And so it's a very circular and enfolding relationship that you both have in your businesses and what you do, even though obviously, Jacquelene, yours in the what we call personal care, beautiful potions and lotions, and Atira more in clothing and accessories. It's still the same vibe and the same thing as in, wow, what a great thing to come to see in a small community. And so, Atira, won't you start off and tell us about your store? We want to hear the whole story from beginning to end, so go for it.
All right. Well, Karen, thank you for having me, and Sarah, thank you for this. It's nice to meet you via video chat, Jacqueline. Well, AtiraSouthwest started as an offshoot of my other business, which is historic Taos trolley tours. And basically what I wanted to do is start selling trolley tickets from the plaza. And so I decided to open a storefront to be able to do that. And consequently, I was inside the Taos County. And I wasn't allowed to run it for only 6 months out of the year, which is how long I run the trolley tours. So I had to come up with a plan of what I could sell for the other 6 months and year round to keep it open year round, because that was the requirement. And that's how Atira was born, because I needed to figure out a way to keep the storefront open year round. And I started with clothing. It was a very tiny store. I started with 500 square feet. And so it was something that was fun and easy to manage. And so I thought, well, I can always do clothing. I always have enjoyed fashion, and I've always liked the Double D Ranchwear line with their leather jackets and all the beautiful pieces that they make. And so I thought, well, I can do that because it was a small space and I didn't have a lot of room. I only had one jewelry case and a teeny tiny dressing room where ladies could change and try their different products on. And so that's how I started, and that was back in 2004. And so after that, I moved twice. Now I'm actually located on the south end of the plaza, close to the Fonda Hotel, and a lot larger now. I have enough room to display a lot of products. So it's
We
been
should
fun.
have probably said, not everybody is familiar with the Taos trolley, and it is an old-fashioned trolley car that doesn't run on tracks, it runs on wheels. And there are a number of tours of great historic and community interest that you offer during the season. And that's what you're talking about, that you needed something else to manage to keep the business going during the seasons. And of course, that's where the clothing started to grow. And obviously, I mean, look at the outfit that you have on and the necklace, as in, dripping with jewelry, fabulous. So where did you start off finding clothing? Do you make clothing? How is this working?
No, I actually do not make my own clothing. I find different designers that I enjoy wearing myself. And so that's how I ended up figuring out what I wanted to do. I started attending different markets, and that was the way I was able to find clothing. But I had previously had another business, so I had the connections already. My sister and my mother and I had a place in Chimayo that was called Casa Feliz, and we actually had it in the home that my mother grew up in, and that my grandfather built for my grandmother back in the 1900s. So it was just a great place. We had clothing, we had the Chimayo weaving, all kinds of different products like that. And so I already had a lot of the connections because of that.
So your business grew out of the land and the heritage of where the family was, and of course the wonderful area of Chimayo. And that of course leads me to say, all right, Jacquelene, with your products that, again, now that comes truly from the land. How on earth did you start off wanting to make potions?
I definitely would not consider them potions, so to speak, but I love the question to where we originate from. So Bison Star is a family-owned body care company founded right here in Taos by myself and my husband, Angelo. And we had our first child in 2017. And with that, I experienced dry skin, dry hair, scented versions, as some of you may know if you've had children of your own. So at that time, I had been kind of meddling in hobby soap making and so forth. And then after having our daughter, we were faced with being young college graduates here in Taos and had found really limited economic opportunity for both of us. So with the combination of having a new family, having the desire for more natural products in our household, and having limited economic opportunity, my husband and I decided to open up Bison Star Naturals for business and move it from a hobby of craft making to become a nationally recognized brand that was born here in Taos.
Everything that you two ladies do, and actually what I do too, and to some extent what the museum does, it's a unique, a boutique type situation where we're cottage industries. And don't we love it that we're not the, major business somewhere that you can find it in every town and city and foreign countries. That's what makes Taos unique. And so that's something I'll bet you never leave the Taos area. Am I right?
Oh, absolutely.
And it sounds like Atira, talk to us about your family, because that sounded, I heard something about parents and grandparents there, and have they been Taoseños or New Mexicans for generations?
Oh, absolutely. Our family dates back to, well, the early 1700s is what I believe we're at with our heritage there. My mother and my father both were from Chimayo. And so we had our family home close to the Santuario de Chimayo, which of course people come from all over the world to see the church and enjoy visiting that area. And as I mentioned earlier, I don't know if you could hear me because we were having some technical difficulties, I think, with the voice. I think you can hear me now.
Atira, can you hear me? You know what? We're just going to fix this. I'm going to go get Atira and bring her over here, and we're going to be on the same camera because people really want to hear this story. And I was trying to problem solve it with an external mic, and it doesn't seem to be working. So let's just be on the same screen. How about that?
Well,
go ahead and talk amongst yourselves.
You two ladies fix it up, and Jacquelene and I will talk about. So, what is your formula for crepey skin?
Well, you have to try some of our lotions, and we can help you relieve all your dry skin needs that are very prevalent when you live in the Rocky Mountain dry skin type of a climate. So sage pine lotion is definitely our best-selling item. Lavender lotion is my personal favorite, but we also have a couple other options, and in addition to the lotion, we offer liquid soap, lip balm, bar soaps, and we're about to launch our hair care line here in the weeks to come. So we've been trekking along and bringing a holistic, affordable, luxurious body care line to people's homes.
You must have had some early on affinity or technical knowledge of natural items to begun to formulate. As I'm hearing, it sounds as though everything that you make, you and your husband have formulated it for our Western super dry, super high altitude, all the things that just make us old quick.
Yeah, so as a child, I remember picking little like mint plants and different things and making concoctions in my grandmother's kitchen stovetop to come up with different body care that, elementary school age was able to make. So I definitely played a lot with that type of thing as a child, and we are a partnership, so definitely instrumental to Bison Star. It's not just myself, but we are a partnership with Angelo as well. So he brings a lot to the table with his own skills and background too.
To me, part of the reason that we're all Westerners, I happen to be an import in the 50s. My husband is third generation Westerner in our area. This partnership with the land is something that you really don't find so much in other areas. It's a Western thing, isn't it? And of course, as you said, the dryness, the altitude, the sun, all of those things have to be treated differently to produce a product that is valuable to the consumer. You want them to buy it, not just to say, oh, isn't that nice? And you want them to come back.
Most definitely. So we're in a great climate to test out skincare products when the humidity here is super low, and but of course we make a product that's universal, that we ship to all 50 states and beyond, and we have people, wholesale partners as well as individuals that purchase our products in very humid climates as well. So it's really designed to be a universally used product that's not only for people of Taos and our region, but beyond there as well. I think a lot of people gravitate towards Taos and our beautiful landscape that we have here in New Mexico and all around the area. So it's definitely a good draw to have a business coming from the mountainous region here in Taos.
Well, the mystique of Taos is that's unmistakable, and the hum, as they call it, and the scent of Taos is something we all build on. I mean, it's part of our souls now, and I would bet that a lot of people get introduced to your product by that it's a beautiful gift to take home, either for friends or for oneself. It's a souvenir, and then they say, oh, this is pretty good stuff. And that would be a witness to your ability to ship in 50 states. I mean, that's a pretty broad reach. And so this is only a few years that you have actually built this, which that alone is an extraordinary thing. And just by yourselves, your family. Fabulous.
Yeah, and it's really great because we work with retailers such as Millicent Rogers Museum Gift Shop, who carries our product line. And definitely what you're saying about bringing home a usable souvenir is something that's really valuable to a lot of people. Not everybody wants to spend $200 on a souvenir for their house sitter, when there's a usable thing. We all have enough trinkets and things. So it's really nice to be able to offer a product that people can bring home from Taos and beyond, and have it affordable, around $20 or less. And I see one of the questions in the chat from Linda is, where are your products sold in the Front Range in Colorado? And our main partner in the Front Range is the Rocky Mountain Wildlife Arsenal. It's a really cool wildlife reserve that's right in essentially the heart of Denver. And there's all sorts of acreage there where there's bison, deer, different animals, and it's a wildlife reserve with a little gift shop. And they have our full line. So that's always my first point of contact for anybody in the Colorado area to go to. We also carry in a few little boutiques, but they don't necessarily carry the whole line. And then we also do special events in the Denver area. Just last month, I guess it's not last month anymore, in March, we were up at the Denver March Powwow, which is a really awesome, beautiful event that takes place at the Denver Coliseum. And if you haven't been, it's an excellent venue, really cool, melding of all different peoples, predominantly indigenous people, but it's very inviting and an excellent place to go. And Bison Star goes and sets up at Denver March Powwow. Here in July, we're going to be going to another public event called the Cheeseman Park Arts and Crafts Fair. And that one's July 22nd and 23rd. And it's going to be an outdoor event with free entry. So it'll be another opportunity to find our full product line, because not everywhere, as I mentioned, carries the full line. But luckily, the Rocky Mountain Wildlife Arsenal is a place that carries the full line.
And for the benefit of viewers, Cheeseman Park bets up against the Botanical Gardens in the Capitol Hill neighborhood, and the wildlife is a very near I-70 and just a bit to the east. And actually, I happen to know Linda, and it's not that far from her house. And she is a major gardener and natural plants and items person. So I think you may have, she's going to want to talk to you.
Sara, I want to just interject a little bit and say, I'm sorry we had the technical problems, but I think we got it fixed, and happy to have Atira back. And so where people can hear her, because I know we wanted to hear her story about how she got started. And I also wanted to just bring up one little aspect or perspective to look through, because I think it's really interesting, is the value of family in these businesses, the people that we have, Atira and her husband, and Jacquelene and her husband, and the businesses that are starting, you know, with that firm value of family, which quite frankly is similar to how this museum started as well. So
and me and Carl.
And Carl, yes, sorry,
Carl, who manages to
leave you out, but
everything. Well,
I wonder if we can circle back and have
we need
to tell her story.
Absolutely, because Jacquelene mentioned that not everybody wanted to take home trinkets, but Atira, you take the trinket word to kind of like what, 200 or 300%, and so as you tell us about the family, tell us about how you have curated goodies in your place.
Okay, thank you. So family wise, just like I said earlier, I'm originally from Chimayo, and so my mother is one of the original Chimayo weavers of the area. And so I get a lot of my inspiration, I think, for color and fashion and all of that, I attribute to her. And my family is really a close-knit family. And so when I started the business all those years ago with the trolley, which was in 1988, my parents were very supportive, and my, siblings as well. My sister has always been very supportive and has been part of the business from the get-go, her and her husband Troy. So we have had different phases throughout the whole time frame. So it's basically like a whole career has already happened for me. I know, Jacquelene, you're starting out, but you're doing a fantastic job from what I'm hearing. It's awesome. I cheer you on. I think it's awesome that you're, taking your dream and making it happen, especially in Taos, and taking that time to figure out what it is that you want for you and what makes you passionate about doing it. Because for myself, if I hadn't been passionate about running the trolley for all these years and doing the boutique and my love of fashion, I don't think I would still be here today. Because to be in it for the long haul, you really have to be dedicated and motivated to do it on a daily basis, because it is daily, and then life happens and you have to bring all that together. And that's where I think that family is so critical, to be a part of it, so that you're not out there feeling like the Lone Ranger and you have no support system. So that is really important to all of us, I know, as women, as well as, just being a small business in a small town. And we have our cycles here in Taos. So we have our, springtime, and we get going again, and everybody gets all excited every time we bring the trolley out. It's kind of like a beacon of hope, we're going to get going again.
Including us.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody gets excited, and that's always fun to see. And the hotels, we've always worked really closely with the hotels, and they get excited about it. So it's just a really good energy, and it's a positive way to, have a business. And I think it's a lot of fun. I've always really enjoyed it. And so I think that when you feel that way about your business, it makes a big difference in how it projects to the public. And my theme for my store has always been customer service is our #1 priority. And I think if you have that mindset, then you're able to grow your business and you're genuine about it. People can see that when they come into the store. I have a lot of variety. And to answer your question about how I got the products together is I just started getting different wholesalers that I had already been in my previous business working with, and kind of expanded on some of them, not all of them, and just found different people that I like their product. A lot of times when you go to a market, there's people that are all trying to sell you something, but you have to think about it and say, okay, what's going to work for me? What can I sell? If you don't believe in your product, you'll never sell it. It'll sit on the shelf, and it doesn't matter how much they say that they can sell it, because if it's not something that you enjoy selling, you're never going to sell it. So I just like to buy things that I enjoy for myself, as well as other people that I know that, okay, this would really work well on this particular woman. And I like to read people a lot. So when a woman comes into my store, I like to look at her and just say, oh, this would be great on you, you know? And sometimes women will go, oh yeah, you know what? I would never wear that. And then I say, okay, we'll see. Maybe you'll find something else you like. And they start looking around. And then before they know, okay, well, maybe I will try that product you suggested. And it's so funny because then they'll say, I would have never gone out of my comfort zone, but I'm really glad that I did. And so they'll end up getting something that's a little bit different than their normal thing that they would wear. And so that's kind of the fun aspect also, because I think when a woman feels good about herself, she's confident and she is enjoying life. Mm-hmm. And so that's really one of the purposes that I have for my store. My vision is to help other women feel comfortable in who they are, no matter what size they are. I carry extra small all the way to 3X. And I think that's an important thing to really see, because the media will try to get you to fit into a little mold. And I tell them, you know what, you're beautiful the way you are. And so embrace that. Because, we women, we tend to be more critical of ourselves than what we should be. So
that's an amazing attitude to take. And and that's certainly, what you're going to get from the experience of the small personalized business, which is one of the reasons people, are drawn to our community and to town plazas and whatnot. Jacquelene, did you mention, we were kind of in and out, did you mention about the museum association, the store association? Because I think that's an exciting avenue that you've taken, and I know that that's coming up. I wonder if you can talk a little bit about your experience getting involved with that and where you see that leading Bison Star in terms of opening doors to your market.
Sure. So we're going to be participating in the Museum Store Association, which is a event that partners with the annual American Museum Association every year. Each year they go to different cities. Last year they hosted in Boston, and this year they're hosting in Denver. So being that we're just 5 hours south of Denver, it was kind of a no-brainer to sign up for this one. And in order to participate as a vendor at this event, you have to be accepted into the MSA program. So you have to be an accepted vendor, which means you already have to work with multiple nonprofit museums and also have references. So we were thankful that Millicent Rogers Museum did provide a reference. So they were one of several references for us. And it's going to be really great because we already work with quite a few different museums. Our predominant partners are museums, airports, national parks, gift shops, travel places. We go after places that we as individuals like to frequent. So my husband and I like to travel. We like to learn and go to museums. We like to do outdoor stuff. So we focus our brand on things that we like, and we find a lot of other like-minded people that also value clean body care, healthy lifestyle, healthy living. And so the museum branch of Bison Star is a really exciting one. This is going to be a really great trade fair that's not open to the public. So I haven't really been marketing it as a public event. You have to be registered as a MSA or American Alliance Museum member in order to attend. So we're not really marketing it in the same manner that we do our public events. But it's going to be really awesome. I'm very excited to be put in front of buyers from museums all across the nation and some from other countries as well. Our product fits really well in these types of environments. Millicent Rogers is a great partner, and it's a smaller museum here in Taos, and even for a smaller location like that, the gift shop definitely has a great customer base and some really wonderful people that frequent that museum. So it's just a really awesome network of like-minded people and that have similar values. So I'm really excited to see what this opportunity is going to bring for us. We head up there in about a week and a half, and we'll be setting up on the trade fair floor for the MSA forward side. So it's a combo. There's going to be big museums like the Smithsonian with a traveling exhibit, the Field, some of these bigger museum names, and they bring actual exhibits. Like, that's how awesome this event's going to be. And then there's the area where Bison Star fits in. So it'll be products that are like books, toys, all the different things that you might see in a museum gift shop. And then Bison Star is going to fit in there really nicely. We work with quite a few different museums across the country currently. So in Taos, we work with a couple museums, and we have some in Santa Fe and in Albuquerque, but we also work with museums in other states as well. And they're some of our best partnerships, because that's one of the beautiful things about working as a wholesale company, is we're not reliant on tourism to Taos. So even when the town of Taos is quiet or facing different challenges with seasonal weather or other things that we've all experienced in the last few years, we aren't dependent on the tourism traffic. So it's just an added bonus to have our storefront. But really, the bread and butter of our company is our online e-store, as well as wholesale partnerships. So this is going to be a really great event for us, and I can't wait to report back to everybody to tell you what it's like and how it goes, and I'm excited. It's going to be a lot of fun.
We're
You
excited
really
for you too. And I think you mentioned a lot about partnerships and partnering with people, and that's part of what this whole conversation is about, is the different iterations that partnerships can take, and how, like Atira was mentioning about the trolley and the energy that brings to the town, and the hope of, it's spring season, it's tourist season for us, where's the trolley? And so I think I noticed when I was looking on your website, Jacquelene, that you have some partners with products, even teography, and there was another, the hot sauce one, to make gift bags or gift packaging. And so I was just curious in terms of like some of the things that you're doing, Atira, and talking about the e-commerce. What are you seeing with your website, and how that's playing into your business? Like Jacquelene is saying that the e-commerce is a big piece of it.
Well, it is definitely a way to go, and I think that more businesses have to do it, because exactly what we were talking about, the seasonality of the area. And so we are working on our website right now. What's a little bit of a challenge for us is that most of the things that I order in advance, such far like 6 months to,
Mhm.
4 months in advance, and they're not big lots of product. And so it's a very unique space. And so it's kind of another whole business that has to be done in order for it to
Right.
be profitable. You have to get more inventory that you can put online, and then it just sells out and you got to replace it with something totally different. And so it's not something that you can easily replenish. So I'm working on that right now. We do have some of the people, like I have a company that I work for or work with that's called Rainkeeper, and it's actually the mother and daughter team. And so
Oh.
they've started their business, and it's a lot of fun to work with them.
Mhm.
And so those are waterproof raincoats. And why I picked them was because they are wearable art,
Mhm.
and they are functional as well as packable. And so you can take them with you. So it's like a really upscale, as we were talking about, trinket of Taos.
Mhm.
And so it's fun to work with those kind of people, and they can produce more quantity. And so that's why I chose them, for example,
And are
as an
those
easy fit.
are those in the store, or are they
They're in
online
the
or both?
store and in online both. And so we have Van Gogh, the Starry Nights, we
Mhm.
have all kinds of different ones that they do. So we have the irises from Van Gogh, a lot of Van Gogh. I tend to go more for the artsy pieces. They do
Yeah.
some plain ones, but I figure might as well have the pizzazz.
Of course, in this community, right?
After all, we are the art mecca, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And so it's fun. And I also work with another company called Mary Francis, who does hand beaded bags. And
Mhm.
so those hand beaded bags are all very unique as well. She does them for a limited time. And so they are truly a collector's item. And
Mhm.
she's won a lot of awards for her purses, and people come into the store, and I have guitars. I have purses that look like Dia de los Muertos.
Yes.
I have a painter's palette is my latest one.
Mhm.
And so people just love it. I also have a crown and a little royal carriage, but
Mhm.
they're just so much fun.
They are.
People love them.
I've seen them in person and on the website. They are a lot of fun.
Mhm.
And I also want to mention that you carry the Double D Ranch
Yes,
clothing line,
I do.
which, so I don't know if people know this, but it's like, okay, couture fashion in Taos, right?
Mhm, absolutely.
And it's interesting because a lot of times people will come to the museum, and so we, where should we go eat, or where should we go do this, or where could I find this? So, this whole kind of network of all of us know about each other and
Mhm.
share, information about where to go and what to do,
Mhm.
and kind of just have this unified helping each other out vibe is, I think, really an amazing thing about small towns.
Mhm.
Part of it is about discovery.
Yes.
And in the small town, you have the opportunity that things are pretty close. Of course, many of the artisans in the Taos Santa Fe area are out in Chimayo or Española or Pilar or wherever, but that's all real close. And the fun, the uniqueness of going on a little adventure to get to someone's new boutique, that's part of the travel fun. Our good friend Angelisa, who arranges travel for people in that area, she originally said, "Oh, I'm not going to have trips specifically to go shopping," and yet that's it. I mean, the shopping in this area, whether you want two-dimensional art and it's $50,000, or sculpture, or the clothing, or as Jacquelene said, such an inexpensive and useful souvenir. Yeah, thank you. And speaking of the souvenirs, Atira, if you disappear and your necklace is somehow gone, when you will know that it magically teleported in my neighborhood. And I will be wearing it for the next Zoom. But do tell us a little bit about it, because it looks like it is building a very contemporary vibe on traditional materials and spirit.
Absolutely. So of course, this is a Native American piece that I'm wearing, and I did carry them in the store, but of course, you know, they did fly out.
One at a time.
particular pieces. Yes, exactly. And so I love to buy quality pieces that are going to be something that you can treasure for a long time. And so my jewelry that I do carry in the store, I try to buy directly from the people that make the jewelry. I represent Jack Tom, and he has a very contemporary spin. He's Navajo, and he does a beautiful job. He's already in his 80s, so you know it's a beautiful way to collect something that's going to grow in value. It can be an heirloom that you can pass on to your daughter, or maybe your daughter-in-law if you don't have a daughter. But they're pieces that you can really treasure. I have some beautiful squash blossoms in the store. I have one that is from the 1940s, and it is a fantastic piece. And it has the nausea with the one drop in the middle. And so they say that's significant of maybe an Indian chief wearing that piece at one time. And so that's pretty exciting to know. And so I do try to do some contemporary pieces, but mostly I do the Native American pieces. And so it's a lot of fun. I do carry one of the lines out of Colorado that I got recently that's very affordable, and they're Jacquelene earrings, and so they've done the artwork and they put them onto the earring.
That's interesting.
And they're so lightweight, they feel like you don't have anything on. They're
interesting.
wonderful.
So
Yeah.
explain to people what Jacquelene is.
Okay, so Jacquelene is a rendering of an actual art piece, and so it's just a reproduction. Is a better way of probably putting it.
No,
Yeah.
Jacquelene is good because of the art community. So yeah, it's like it's a photo, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then they actually are water resistant as well. And they're just beautiful.
Do they sometimes touch it up with paint on the Jacquelene?
No, not on these earrings. And they actually have the little story on the card on the back. So if you're taking a gift home, let's say somebody's watching your house or whatever, then they're a really nice gift to give for that reason.
Yeah, because
and
of their lightweightness.
Their lightweightness, and who doesn't like a pair of nice earrings, you know? So those are easy.
Atira, you just said one word that is majorly important, and that's story. Because your pieces, and of course, the beautiful personal care products have a story. And that's what we all crave. We want the connection to something that came from the heart of someone else, the artisan, and as I mentioned, that you are not only curators of art, but you are creators of art as well. And so that's this circular thing of the art, the artwork, and the audience. So I think the story, I don't dare go in your store because I want to hear about everything.
Jacquelene, did you get a chance to tell your story about how Bison Star was named Bison Star?
Oh no, we haven't heard that.
No,
it's an important story.
So it's a super organic naming. When my husband and I first met, we were freshmen in college, and he brought me home to meet his family, and he has a lot of family here in Taos, and so we went up to grandma's house, and everybody was eating and enjoying themselves, and he introduced me to the fam and said, this is Jacquelene Bison Stahl. That's my maiden name, is Bison Stahl. And one of the kids, and this was like 2007, when we're, much before we opened our company in 2018. And one of the little kids said, "What did you say your name was?" "Jacquelene Bison Star." And it was super cute and everybody laughed, and it was just an innocent little like child's question, right? And then, so that was in 2007. And then when we decided to open up our company, we were thinking of a name, like how can we name our company and have it be something unique and, you know, have a good logo and branding behind it. And the name Bison Star came up, and we added the naturals on the end because we make a natural product line. So it was a cute little organic story that just happened just by chance, I guess.
Well, and it manifested in such an awesome logo in terms of getting branding out there. And I just think it's such a cute story.
Yeah, it was awesome. And I always enjoy when Angelo answers that question, because in my opinion, he answers it the best. Because I like, you know, what woman doesn't like to hear their husband talk about their time when they met and, you know, back in those early days. So I always really enjoy it when I get to hear Angelo describe that time period.
And of course, he's just extraordinarily handsome, charming, and swept you off your feet, right?
Pretty much. We were college students, freshmen, so I wasn't really mentally thinking I was going to meet my husband on freshman move-in day, but that's how it happened. So
very good. We love that.
Well, we have not too much time left, and I want to get in just at least one of my questions, which is for other people who might be listening or might be watching the recording in the future. What would you give as your best piece of business advice to somebody wanting to start up a small business?
Woo-hoo.
I know, hard
I
question.
guess I'll go first.
Sure.
I think the only way to find out is by doing. And so if somebody has the desire to start a business with whatever resources they have at the present time, I think you can really build on that and go for it. Getting excess funding when you're first starting out isn't gonna necessarily result in success. So just using what you have and the skills you have and building on that every day, brick by brick, until you look back and you can see how far you've come, I think can really create a strong company, because you want your product and your customer to build you up, not exterior funding like grants and all this, you know, VCs and all that. While it's a useful tool, the product and the company have to really build that sustainable community of customers and so I think wherever you are, if you're starting or thinking of starting, just go for it, because there's no better time to try it than right now.
What do you think, Atira?
Well, I think that Jacquelene hit it on the nose. You know, we have, in my experience, it's been that you do have to get it where your business is profitable, because if it isn't profitable, then all you're doing is turning money over, and that's going to eventually lead to you defaulting in business. And so if you can make it past the first 5 years, I think you're going to be successful. I found out recently that I'm in the minority, being at 35 years on the trolley. Very few companies make it
That's
long.
amazing. Yeah.
And so I think I'm in like 5th percentile or something like that, which is amazing to me, because that wasn't my goal to stay in business forever. It was just, I'm just doing it as long as I enjoyed it and I'm having fun with it. I'll keep doing it, but it wasn't like a goal. But I do think that when you are underfunded, that also can be detrimental to your whole business. So it is important to sometimes, if you need to go get a loan, to have those connections with the banks, and always consider having very good credit. If you don't have the credit to back you up, then that's another point that you can fail, especially what we just passed through, having the COVID-19 and that shutdown. If you don't have the credit to back you up, and you don't have the resources to find those connections that are going to help you get what you need to keep on going, that's another whole different issue, that you've got to always prepare for the lean times. And I think I've really learned that over the years, being in business as long as I have been, that you have to save, because not every day is it going to be a very profitable day. You may go days without making any money. And so you have to always plan for those times and budget your money wisely. So I think that the main thing I say is that if you want to start a business, you really have to have a plan. Make sure that you know what your direction is and what your customer base is. Because for myself in the store, I'm a niche business. I'm not trying to be a clothing store for every market. So I think that's important to know too. And you have to really study that market and know, can I sustain a business in this market or not? So those are the things that you have to ask yourself, and see if you're in the right area, because maybe it's a great idea, but it might not be the right idea for the particular place that you live. So all of those things that you need to consider before you just jump in and do a business.
That's great. That's great advice, Atira. And I want to address verbally for future audiences as well, because Jacqueline's asking about the trolley. And and I hadn't really thought about this myself, but a lot of local people probably haven't ridden the trolley, and I bet they see it and they think, oh, that's something for tourists. So the question is, how do people ride the trolley? What do they have to do?
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, absolutely. So all you have to do is go online and look up taostrolleytours.com. That's our website. You can purchase a ticket there. And as far as the locals are concerned, a lot of locals, believe it or not, do go on the trolley when they get company in town. And so they have their friends come into town and they get on the trolley, and we have people that come in. It's so fun, because when people come in and take the tour, and then they get other people that are visiting, then they come and do the tour again. And we're just like, you're going to do it again? And they say, yeah, we're going to do it again. We just loved it. And so Dave is an awesome tour guide. He just makes you laugh. He's a lot of fun, and he's very knowledgeable about what he does. And so people really enjoy that. And of course, his story is, he grew up here in the summertime when he was growing up. So he has a lot of stories to tell. And he's an awesome storyteller, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, we always enjoy Dave bringing the trolley groups. And just to clarify, so this is one of the ways that the museum partners within the community as well. So we've had advertising on the trolley for many years, right, Atira? Yeah,
absolutely.
And are very appreciative, because a lot of the people that come to the museum on the trolley perhaps would not have experienced the museum without the trolley. They wouldn't have just come here on their own. So it all works together. We all help each other out, and I know we at the museum are really proud of both you ladies and the new things that are going on, and the entrepreneurial spirit that is sort of embracing all of us in the community these days. And I think to kind of wrap it up, Sara.
I want to wrap up with one thing. It occurs to me that the small entrepreneur, the artist, your business is a great part of your identity. We from the West often consider that we are defined by our families and our children first. And if you think of it, your boutiques are your children as well as the real ones. And it's great to see people sharing with the young people in the family and passing things on. Major importance. So with I think we say thank you to everybody.
Well, I want to say thank you to you, Sara. So Sara is a volunteer for the museum, and she's here every month. We do this together, and it's a lot of fun. And I always appreciate you, Sara, and your contributions and skill at conversation. We don't want that to be a dying art, do we?
Definitely
I
not.
also want to say that the museum is now open 7 days a week. So from 10 to 5, we are currently hosting the New Mexico Pastel Society Enchanted Colors. That'll be on exhibition until June 18th. And if you are interested in our annual summer party, this year it's called Turquoise Rocks, and it's going to happen on August 5th. More information and tickets are available on our website. And we have both the websites in the chat for Bison Star Naturals and AtiraSouthwest. And as always, www.millicentrogers.org will get you to the museum online. So thanks, everybody. And thanks, ladies, for joining us. Really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.